are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the College Loop Podcast. I'm Dylan. I'm putting on Twitter. Here to talk to you and latest Auburn athletics news. In a pre-recorded Sunday episode, I am sorry I was not available for the Thursday episode. Got a little bug and wasn't able to record. But we are back on this beautiful Sunday evening when this is going to be live streamed to talk to you today about the SEC media and how they ranked Auburn amongst the rest of the SEC. Now, SEC Media Days, I think, was a big success for Auburn. I think they did a very good job of, highlighting what they're going to do well this year and, kind of finding a way to mediate expectations. Now, I do think Hugh Freeze maybe jumped the gun a little bit and said, Auburn should be a playoff team this year, which, however you want to believe that, that's up to you. But I think it's a little too early for that speculation right now. 2026 comes around, you can say whatever you want about Auburn going to the playoffs. 2025, I need to be shown that it's even possible for Auburn to win more than 6 games. But I'm going to go through how the SEC media ranked Auburn. Now, SEC champions, this is just a voting system. 96 people voted for Texas to win the championship, 44 for Georgia, 29 for Alabama, and 20 for LSU. And then it drops down significantly. And Auburn's all the way down here, tied for last in votes at 1. So one person voted for Auburn to win the SEC championship, and they're tied with Ole Miss and Tennessee. Other vote getters, South Carolina was in 5th place with 5, Oklahoma with 3, Vanderbilt with 2, which that's an ongoing meme amongst SEC media days. Vanderbilt never goes without a vote in the SEC championship. And then Florida also with 2. Predicted order of finish, Auburn is below Oklahoma at number 11. Now, I think this is I'm mediating expectations here. I was against Hugh Freeze saying Auburn will go fight for a playoff spot this year, but I do think Auburn will finish higher than 11th in the SEC. Now, I know I predicted Auburn to lose to Oklahoma this year, and that's strictly because Auburn, it's an early game in Norman, so it's going to be a tough environment for Auburn to play in. But throughout the remainder of the year, I think Auburn will have a better season than Oklahoma. I think Auburn could be arguably up there with Texas A&M and Ole Miss by the end of the season. Now, I think Tennessee is an interesting team to watch going into this year because you don't really know what to expect from Tennessee right now. You lose your quarterback, you bring in another guy, and you really just don't know what to expect out of him yet. You always defensively, but as a team, can Josh Heupel bring back this high-powered offense that he had, with Hendon Hooker? He didn't really have that with Joe Milton, didn't really have it with Nico. Can Joey Aguilar bring back that high-powered Vol offense? So very interesting. Ole Miss, again, I think Ole Miss is always going to be up there just because, that's the program that Lane Kiffin is leading. I think Austin Simmons is going to be one of the more underrated quarterbacks in the SEC. But again, teams like Florida, I think, are ranked way too high. I think Billy Napier, I don't think he's on his way out. I think he kind of got off the hot seat a little bit, but expectations still very high. But I don't know if Florida is fully there yet. They still lost a lot of games last year. South Carolina, LSU, Alabama, and Georgia, and Texas being up there at the top, I can see that. Alabama may be too high. I think LSU could give them a run for the money this year. But I just don't know how I feel about Auburn being at 11. I think it's very low in terms of just what Auburn can do this year. And, of course, I understand there's going to be that speculation, will Auburn just, Auburn it up yet again? They've had a tendency of doing that over the past few years. But, again, I like Auburn more than I like Oklahoma. And if that game, if Auburn play Oklahoma again in Jordan Hare this year at that same time, I would probably give the edge to Auburn. If Auburn play Oklahoma later in the year, probably around the time they play like a Vanderbilt, I would give Auburn the edge over Oklahoma. But I just don't know. And again, it's like if you go by point system here, Auburn is like dead set at 11 because they are 400 points behind Oklahoma, but they are 100 points above Missouri, and then everyone kind of goes downhill from there. Mississippi State, Kentucky, Arkansas, Vanderbilt, and Missouri all projected to finish below Auburn in the SEC. Not to say I don't feel Auburn could, worst case scenario, find their way at 11th, even lower than that, depending on how that Missouri game goes. But I do like that people are hopefully coming around to the fact that they don't think Vanderbilt's going to be able to reciprocate the magic that they had last season. But ultimately, I just think Auburn is getting underrated by the media. And whenever you bring in this much talent that Auburn did over the past few recruiting cycles, especially you go in the transfer portal, I think Auburn made some not heavy, but big time pickups in Horatio Fields and Eric Singleton. And I'm glad Horatio Fields got some shout outs from the players, because I think Horatio Fields is going to be one of those breakout players that no one really saw coming. I don't think people talk about Horatio Fields enough and what he can bring. Just watch his tape at Wake Forest, and it's not flashy, but dude, he is if it's like 3rd and 4, you put a ratio out there, you're gonna get 5 yards. And I was like most of his highlights whenever he signed with Auburn, and okay, gotta go do some film on Horatio. Dude was just doing little out routes, curls, posts, and just snagging the ball, getting hit, but with a first down, snagging the ball, getting possession of it, touchdown. That's all. He is the most what's the Terminator? He doesn't do anything flashy, but he just does everything consistently well. And it's really fun to watch Horatio Fields, and just the fact that he is able just to get the ball, get the yards he needs, and on to the next play. I love Horatio Fields, and again, just for sure hands. I would probably argue he probably has the best hands in this wide receiver room going into this season. So as we continue on with the remainder of the show, last few things, talk about SEC Media Days. All SEC teams also came out from this week. Couple of first teamers for Auburn. Cam Coleman getting a nod there, right there below Ryan Williams. Defensively, got a chance to see Keldrick Falk get in the first team, and Keldrick is the only Auburn defensive player on all of the teams. It goes first to third team, and there's no other Auburn Tigers on there. There's no Jay Crawford, no Caleb Harris, none of those guys. No Quancho, no Bobby Travis. There we go. None of those guys, but you did get a chance to see Eric Singleton and Connor Liu getting in on the third team. Now, again, I think a lot of Auburn Tigers could argue to be around here. Xavier Chaplin also got in on that third team. I think arguably he could be as high as first team to me. I think he does possess that level of talent. He is getting that NFL nod because, he is getting looked at as a top end prospect, and there's 3 Tigers you could see get drafted in that first round next year with, Keldrick, Eric Singleton got a lot of that. And of course, Xavier Chaplin. But again, defensively, not anyone else outside of Keldrick Falk on here for the Auburn Tigers. Special teams, first team, I was shocked to see that it was just all Georgia. Just punter, kicker, kickoff specialist, long snapper, return specialist, and just all purpose, all Georgia all the time on that one. And sadly, there was no Eric Singleton or Rashawn Pleasant on any of these, which I feel like that could be arguable for that, because Rashawn Pleasant was a great return man for Tulane, and Eric Singleton was also a really good return man for Georgia Tech. So kind of shocked not to see them, but I am happy that Alex McPherson is getting some love here. Third team place kicker. And might I add, just to say this, I've been playing College Ball 26 nonstop since I got back from my Florida trip. I'm a little upset at the fact that Alex McPherson is like a 77 overall. I don't know what you've seen in his gameplay that makes you think he is less than an 80 overall. And another thing that sucks is College Ball 26 has some bugs in it. And there's 7 players on the team who are not really on the team. There's a safety. There's a kicker that's higher up than Alex McPherson. It's just very annoying to me. Very, very annoying. But, of course, SEC Media Days is over as of Friday. But, again, just to end the segment, Auburn did a very good job of answering questions. I think they all kind of speculated, how important this Baylor game is. Every single one of them touched on it. I think Hugh Freeze did a good job of kind of explaining what went into bringing in Jackson Arnold, what he saw, and Jackson Arnold also talked very well about why he chose Auburn, and just he just loves running this offense. That's what he said on multiple occasions. That's why he transferred to Auburn, and Hugh Freeze said that he wanted to play in this offense. But again, I think that very successful media days. Nothing shocking happened at media day as to where Auburn was a headline anywhere. But we're going to go to a quick commercial break. Also, this break, we're talking about some Auburn recruiting because we got some good news underway. Just you'll hear about it tomorrow, more than likely. And then, the other news that I have to touch on, I'm not going to go any further detail than just what it is. But outside this break, Auburn recruiting, stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Are you tired of having to rummage through just clothes after clothes after clothes looking for something to wear? Are you tired of your friends making fun of you for your terrible fashion sense? Well, do we have the shirt for you? Go to thewarreport.com, get your laptop out and do it right now. Go to the shop and get your very own Feelin' Loopy t-shirt as well as your college loop hat, and you can get both of them for only $25 each. Plus shipping and handling, of course. But with that, now back to your regular scheduled program.
It's available on thewarreport.com. Go to the shop. Most comfortable items to wear in your entire life. Check them out today. Link in the description below for that. But of course, the merch, it's awesome. I love it. I wish every single one of y'all would buy the merch. But the best way to support the channel is not buying the merch. It's liking the videos. It's commenting on the videos. And of course, it's subscribing to the channel. So stay tuned or stay in the loop with us over here at the College Loop. So Auburn recruiting, of course, has been a horrific topic to talk about as of late. Auburn currently stands at 75th in the country, which I want to stop there. I think they're next to last in the SEC at 75 in the country. It's just abysmal. There are a couple of guys I haven't got a chance to talk about yet. Auburn got a couple of big pickups, and last week, I didn't even talk about this one. I completely forgot about it. Adam Balagoon Ali, a linebacker out of West Palm Beach, Florida. Good pickup for Auburn, getting an athletic linebacker. But the most recent guy is Wilson Zaire, 3-star, 4-star offensive tackle, a legacy of sorts. Her older brother played at Auburn not too long ago, Killian Zaire. 3-star 4-star. There we go. 4-star offensive tackle, 6'6", 280. Massive pickup. It's the third O lineman of Auburn's recruiting class thus far. And, you got to keep the offensive lineman coming in. You got to have that revolving door of O lineman every year. When some guys leave, you got to bring a whole unit back up. But 6'6", 280, that is massive. And, it's not going to be the only recruit we can talk about this week. Right now, Jaquez Wilkes, 6'4", 220-pound edge rusher out of Wadley, Alabama, 4-star in the class 2026. Currently crystal ball to commit to Auburn, and he is scheduled to release that tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. We'll be hopefully talking about what he can bring to the Tigers on the Tuesday episode. I'm not too sure what exactly it would bring Auburn up to if they got a 4-star. Of course, right now they only have the 2 for 24/7. But I mean, if I were to just throw that in there real quick and just kind of see what happens, it would boost them up. Not really a lot. It doesn't look like, unless I just mess something up. Did that not add him in here? It did not. Okay, yeah, it did. There we go. So let's see. 178.89 is the score. So if we go down to football recruiting and team rankings, I should have had this ahead of time. But, I mean, it's a pretty massive jump. I'd bring Auburn all the way up in the 60s, which, it's a pretty good jump for where Auburn is right now. It'd bring up 10 whole spots. And, we're on the verge of August 1st. And August 1st has been the big speculation with Hugh Freeze as to when those fake checks are going to start bouncing, and Auburn's going to turn up the heat on recruiting, full momentum swing, and Auburn's going to jump right back up to where they're supposed to be in the top 12. So hopefully that happens. Hopefully that's the true statement. But we're 12 days away from that. So hopefully we'll get a chance to talk about that whenever that comes around. But yeah, good news for Auburn recruiting, picking up a massive offensive lineman and getting a chance to hopefully pick up a big time edge rusher out of, in-state recruit as well. Especially a top 10 recruit in the state of Alabama as well, currently sitting at number 6 in the state of Alabama. Be Auburn's second top 10 recruit, but you're currently losing to Alabama big time in the state. So got to turn that around. I think Auburn is on pace to do that. Got to start flipping some guys. Got to start flipping them. And I think Jaquez Wilkes currently stands. I think he's one of the highest ranked uncommitted players. So you're going to be trying to recruit a lot of committed guys to flip. Of course, Auburn did lose out on Landon Duckworth. I think that was pretty much assumed by a lot of people that Auburn was going to get Landon Duckworth. The second Peyton Falzone flipped his commitment from Penn State to Auburn. But wish Landon the best of luck. I have no quarrels with South Carolina. I love Shane Beamer, and I hope he can turn things around over there for the Gamecocks. Working on it. He was close to getting a playoff spot last year. But as we continue on with just the last little tidbit of the show, we have been talking about Auburn athletes over the past few weeks. Of course, started off with drug trafficking with DJ Barber. He was dismissed from the team. Todd Pettiford was arrested for a DUI, issued an apology a few days after it happened. He is still going to be on the Auburn basketball team. Just going to probably, I would assume some kind of suspension would happen. Miss the first game or two, if that. But another Auburn football player, Malcolm Simmons, earlier this week was arrested with a domestic abuse charge, domestic violence call. Police came in and found. I don't want to go too far in the details, but he was arrested with a felony count of domestic assault, strangulation, or suffocation. Currently, nothing's been said by Auburn. I think Auburn is just doing everything they can to get a full investigation around this, but Malcolm Simmons has not been dismissed from the team. He had a $20,000 bond, and that was paid, so he's no longer being held. But I mean, I would assume I don't want to assume. I know the school is taking this very seriously. I just hate this. Another thing we have to talk about, and and I understand the people are saying the innocent to proven guilty thing. If it didn't happen, good for him. If it did happen, he's gone. That's a career thrown out the window from a kid making another stupid mistake. And just a really stupid one at that. I mean, right there with DJ Barber in terms of just idiotic things to do. Whenever you are, like some of the faces of a school, you represent the school you're going to, a school I went to, and doing that, not only it makes you look stupid, it makes the school look bad. And I hate that, and I hate it for anyone hurt in that. I'm trying not to go too far in details about what happened. You can go read about it. It's just stupid. And if Auburn finds out, finds more details, and he'll be dismissed from the team as soon as that gets found out. But again, just a stupid thing to do, and wait and see what Auburn's gonna do. But it's been very quiet. So who knows? But yeah, gonna end this episode of the College Loop Podcast. Of course, we'll be back on the Tuesday show. Talk about Jaquez Wilkes, hopefully committing to the Auburn Tigers, and of course, adding on to the SEC. Way too early since the previous series. There we go. Talking about Missouri and Arkansas. I think that's the next game on that list. Talking about those two games as well. So stay tuned for that. Of course, I'm Dylan on Twitter. Check me out on Instagram as well at Dylan Larck, DYLN LARCK. And of course, check out my SC channel as well. Tank Talks Football. Check that out as well on Instagram. Also TikTok as well. At your boy the Tank at YABOY the Tank. It's also my Twitter handle. You can find that over there. I did do my all SEC team. I got 3 Tigers on that. I took some liberties. I put Cam Coleman, Gildred Falk, and then I threw Connor Lew in there because I think he's earned that spot. Very underrated prospect going into the season for Auburn football. But of course, stay tuned for the next installment of the College Loop podcast. And as always, War Eagle.